Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget, leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
And of course, thank you to our sponsor, Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, field, or in the stands with a custom airbrush helmet, goalie mask, or any type of project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
And also, don't forget to tell them that Ray and Benny sent you.
Let's get right into it. Bomber season is over. What's the number one reason for the Bomber loss in the East semifinal?
Just one? You only want one?
Yep, that's the assignment. What's
I'm gonna go with
number one reason?
I'm going to go with execution. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that went wrong, but execution on both sides of the ball just was not happening. The O-line couldn't block. Zach Collaros couldn't find his open receivers. Long developing plays. On the other side of the ball, the D just couldn't figure things out. And when they thought they did, Montreal got it going again and took the game right out of their hands. And unfortunately, uncharacteristic mistakes on top of the execution kind of did the Bombers in. Sorry, not uncharacteristic mistakes, because they've been happening a lot this year, but not characteristic for a first round playoff game from the Bombers lately. So to me, I think it's execution. Just people just didn't seem on the right page or on the same page in this game.
Did Zach Collaros say something recently about reps early in the season and the
his end of season conference, press conference, I guess.
Yeah, well,
who's that about?
Well, I guess decision makers and also not showing up to a P test or not answering your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very telling statement from him that they needed more reps. You know, yes, he missed that first game, but he didn't play in the preseason games, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I mean, you're missing those reps there, and training camp's short. It's quick. You don't have a lot of time to practice those same plays over and over again.
With a new OC.
Yeah.
In every way possible, new.
Yeah, that didn't get hired until, what, February?
Ridiculous. I'm going to say the number one reason for the Bomber loss is their slow start. Like you said, you know, there are many reasons. There are key plays like Oliveira fumbling, which rarely happens. Ill-timed Willie Jefferson face mask, yes. But they started this game so dang slow. And obviously, I can't say that they weren't prepared. You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but they look like they weren't prepared. Like, without having access to the team, I can only assume the offense, as usual, couldn't get into the rhythm. The defense was playing on their heels in the first half, couldn't stop the run game, which had their eyes into the backfield, and then they started hitting balls long, and they just didn't look prepared to stop the run. And the secondary was shredded. 4 running attempts in the first half with Oliveira. 8 called runs, not including the 4 goal line plunges. The reluctance to commit to the running game, especially when Montreal had, 2 or 3 dudes out, Oakman and Johnson for sure. It's just puzzling to me, especially when you're having such a slow start.
Well, yeah, and you compound that slow start by not using Brady Oliveira, and it doesn't have to be the run. Get the ball in his hands, man.
The screenplay looked pretty good later in the game.
Exactly. You got 19 yards, I think, off that one play, right? I mean, and you only did it once.
Absolutely. That keeps like the linebackers honest, and it keeps the DB's eyes in the backfield. So that sets up other stuff deep. Like, they can't set up play action if they don't commit to the run.
Yeah. But like you say, so you go back to some of those plays throughout the game. Yes, you're down big at half, right? Now you have this opportunity. All of a sudden, it changes around for your D gets a couple turnovers. Your offense is scoring, and you have it. The momentum's kind of coming your way, right? Yeah. But you can't make mistakes at this point because you started in that big hole. And even it started at the end of the first half there when they're about to go for on 3rd and 5, right? And then they get a penalty, knocks them back. They got to settle for a field goal. I was surprised that O'Shea was even going to go for it. But then you say the Brady fumble, the Willie face mask, Zach with a couple fumbles in his game. I know they lost one, but to me, it was like also you got these long developing plays. Montreal would, yes, they had bombs downfield, but they had a lot of plays that were under 10 yards where the receiver got 8, 9 yards,
Yeah.
right? And then they made it second and short. Whereas Brady is freaking just going, or Zach is going back there waiting for plays to develop. When you don't have that time with that Montreal D line, I don't know what Montreal did in that second half, if they were only rushing three and kind of taking it easy, giving Zach more time on those. But yeah, it was just an odd game plan execution on both sides of the ball.
Speaking of only rushing three, that's just as mind boggling as not committing to Brady Oliveira. The amount of times the three-man rush was there and maybe throwing in a linebacker, usually between the guard and the tackle, that could be easily read, easily schemed out of. Like, I don't know. It's just puzzling to me. And that you'd give a quarterback like Davis Alexander time.
It was interesting because even to me, Willie, besides that sack where he got the face mask penalty or the hit to the head penalty, he didn't look like he was really rushing the passer. He looked
Yeah.
like he was trying to keep him in the pocket and hoping to maybe knock the ball down. I don't know if there was a plan to really sack Davis Alexander, but you needed to hit that guy clean, because he was very cocky in that first half. He was cocky, came down to earth a bit in that third quarter, and then got cocky again as the fourth quarter went on. But
No
I don't know what
sacks
you're
again.
doing.
No
No,
sacks again.
just the one with the penalty that didn't count. No pass rush. And what was the turnover? He had pressure on David Alexander, and you made him throw that ball, and Cam Allen came up with the interception. You needed more of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave up 556 yards to this to the Montreal offense, 100 yards to the running back Stevie Scott.
Yeah.
And Montreal had no run game this year.
That was
Really,
a really good play by Tony Jones. He wasn't on the blitz there, but he read the play, and then he stepped up into Alexander, and Alexander threw it, and Cam Allen stepped in front of it. That was a very nice play by
yeah,
Tony Jones.
yeah. But unfortunately, you need more of those. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for them that day.
Three-man rush. Come on. Who's getting a shout out from the Bombers or on the Bombers for their performance against the Owls? I'm going to go with Sergio Castillo. He did his job consistently throughout the whole game.
Yeah,
Simple.
four for four. Some long ones in there.
Yep.
I had him on my list as well, but I'm going to go with Carrick Wheatfall. 6 targets, 5 receptions, 104 yards, a huge 53-yard catch. Made some tough catches on some tough throws. So he'll get it for me.
A lot of glimpses of greatness from a few folks, but at the same time, man.
Yeah,
What's
it's a
one?
disappointing way to go down. A lot of things to clean up for sure.
Oh, it's going to be a huge off season that we'll touch on in a second. What's one word you'd use to describe the Bombers' 2025 season?
Disaster, I'm gonna go with. Like I said, it started off weird, right? The search for an OC, naming one late, and then naming the guy who was already in house. So it's like, why did that take so long?
Yeah.
To some of the front office moves, the free agent moves, not bringing certain guys back, not going for other guys, leaving money on the cap. Like all these things, not finding a proper backup to Zach Collaros, not trusting Terry Wilson to be your backup, even though you kept him on the roster. So to me, it started from the top down, from the moves they made back in February or January or whatever it was, and ended up being a disaster for a team that was hosting the Grey Cup. I expected a little bit more out of them. I mean, at some point you're going to lose. You're not going to make the Grey Cup anymore, but I expected some more moves, spend to the cap, overspend it if you have to try and get a home game.
I'm going to say uninspired. This team had really no identity throughout this season. Lots of personality, lots of leadership, lots of experience, lots of talent, I'd say. But as a team on offense and defense specifically, let's withhold special teams because I thought special teams was great this year. This team had no identity. And when I'm talking about identity, I'm looking at the Grey Cup winning teams that were truly committed to bully ball, truly committing to the run on the offensive side of the ball, and the defense created havoc on the D line. Both playing physical football. It's a style of football that we've been asking for all year, not because it's fun or because it's a video game style, because it's a style of football that we've seen work over the last half decade. And they've just veered a little too far off path. And oh no. Hello?
Yeah,
It says signed out. You've been signed out. You must
I can
sign
still
in.
I can still hear you. Still
Oh,
says
so
it's recording. We're good.
should I keep going then?
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. But any which way, yeah, I think they just veered too far off the path, and they're no longer the Bombers that we see win championships.
Yeah, Montreal even stated that they came at the Bombers with their own version of bully ball, right? And Neufeld getting hurt in this game obviously didn't help the bully ball because now you're down lineman, so you can't really do that. I guess you still have fullback to kind of do that a little bit, but they didn't use him anyways. But yeah, they got away from their brand. They tried something different, and it didn't work out.
What's the next question we had? Because I know what happened there. My account went off, and now I've lost my notes.
Hopefully, this is still recording.
Yeah, it is recording still. I'm sure that was Google that went
Okay.
off and just freaked me out.
Oh,
That said
okay.
you're signed up. And going back to that about the Bombers going away from what they've had, veered off the path, maybe because of too much loyalty. I think because of that loyalty, they just didn't have the horses that to do it this year. Like, you look at Montreal, you saw that they consistently had players, or they're subbing in or they're their starters, that were brought in to play the style of ball that Montreal wanted to play. The Bombers looked like they had a roster that was just holding on. And not holding on in the sense of age specifically or talent specifically, but just holding on because maybe they just held on to a core a little too long after their best before date.
Yeah. And like we've talked about, it's always hard to move on from your core that's helped you get to 5 Grey Cups and
Yeah.
win a couple, right? It's hard to move off that. And we've seen teams struggle with that in the past. And sometimes they do it too much. Calgary did it too much, and it took them a bit to come back and make the playoffs as they did this year. So,
Yeah. Wow.
all right. Well, I'll ask you some questions then.
I got it. I got the
Oh,
notes
you
here.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right. Good.
do you have an extra question you want to ask me?
No, no, no.
Okay.
I was just gonna start going down our list here.
That was
I do have a
so
question for you afterwards, but
okay. Okay. On camera or off?
on camera. Yeah.
All right then. Zach Collaros mentioned in a presser that he wants to come back. Are you committing to him right away? If yes, why? If no, why not?
Okay, so right off the bat, he does have a 1 year contract still, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's probably not guaranteed money, so the Bombers could probably move on, right?
Yeah.
To me, that the amount of that contract may factor into my decision or change my decision as well. I don't think they should commit to him right now. But unfortunately, I think they almost have to. I say no, but I think they have to because there's no one else there, right?
Yeah.
And what are your options in the CFL? I haven't looked through all the free agent lists. I don't know who the quarterback is, but the guy has been tapering off for the last 2 years, and you know, for over 4,000 yards last year. He played 18 games. This year, only 3,000, playing 13 games ish.
Yeah.
You know, and the touchdown to interception ratio has been around, if you want to use terms, of 500 mark, really, right? So it can't get, is it going to get better? I don't think so. I feel like it's going to get worse. And I appreciate what Zach has done for us and all that, but I think it may be time to move on. But what are the options?
Yeah. I am biased, obviously, and I'm a homer. I'm not going to deny that, but I am committing to him. Like, I look at someone like Bo Levi Mitchell and see that there's just maybe a couple more or at least one more year that you can get if you look at different parts of the team, which we will probably get to in the next question. So I won't get into that too much. The Bombers don't have much leverage in regards to, hey, let's renegotiate. Will you take a little less so we can get some talent here and there? Like, there aren't many quarterbacks I think will be available. I think they'll probably have their radar on what's going on with the Trey Ford situation. And they obviously have their radars going on with Tyler Elgersma, hopefully. But I get it. He's committed to exhausting all possibilities in the NFL. Who wouldn't want to if you have that opportunity? So Yeah, committing to Zach Collaros. Maybe he
Okay.
has a couple more years of genius, or at least one. Let's hope, at least one.
Well, he showed in that second half he has the ability to do that. He showed the Hamilton game he has the ability, but it was all over the place, right? He went from that first half to showing that he had no ability to that second half to showing, hey, I can do this,
Yeah,
right? And I think if you're gonna do that, yeah, you have to get a strong O line. Bo Levi had a strong O line in Hamilton,
yeah.
stronger this year, better than it was last year.
Where's
You
Liam
know, so,
Dobson?
hey,
Where's Liam Dobson?
in Hamilton.
Oh, you see,
Exactly. But Zach said if he does it, well, not if he does it, but he also wants guys to return. He wants Jake Thomas, Neufeld, Stanley Bryant, Goche, all these guys to return because they want another shot at it, a kick at the can. And that's where my issue is. It's like you can't bring all these guys back. It's time to move on. It's time to find some new blood and change things up a little bit. As much as you think, hey, we can do this again, that's a bit delusional to me in that sense.
yeah. Come on now,
Yeah.
come on. With that said, what's your number one priority heading into the off season?
For me, it starts at the top. You got to figure out this coaching staff, front office, right? You got O'Shea and Walters both without contract. You know, it sounds like O'Shea wants to come back, and that's
Yeah.
where the path is going right now. No issue there. Is Walters coming back? We have no idea. He hasn't had a press conference. He kind of took a back seat to things. He was out of the kind of limelight this year. So we've talked about it a few times, and we've heard rumors of O'Shea taking over more control. Is that going to happen?
So is O'Shea
Is
your number one priority?
yeah, I think you got to get him done for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
but to me, it starts at that top. So if any of those guys you're bringing back, you're probably bringing back O'Shea right away, and then going from there and figuring out the rest. Is Hogan back? What's going on with Younger? Is he going to? I'm sure he's going to be back, but he's going to probably have to change his defensive game plan, right? But yeah, they have to figure shit out on both sides of that ball because it was a mess.
Yeah.
Even though the D, sorry to keep going here. Even though the D gave up very little points throughout the season, they got exposed in this game against Montreal.
Yeah. No, it's true. They did not look good against Montreal. My number one priority, the one thing, I'm either giving the keys to Jarius Jackson or I'm knocking on Paul LaPolice's door for another tour of duty as the Bomber OC because this cannot happen again. Like, I have zero trust or zero issue and all the trust in the world in Paul LaPolice's ability to coach offense in the CFL. Like, I think in either scenario, some humble pie will need to be eaten by a couple folks. But I'm sorry, as a fan, I'm just not believing in Hogan and enough to make it Zach Collaros' good last year. So that's
Yeah,
my number one thing is that OC. I think it has to change.
yeah, I would be okay with Paul LaPolice coming back for as OC. And like you say, if Zach's going to come back, it's basically one more kick at the can here, right?
Yeah.
So again, you have to go all out to get this done.
Jarius Jackson is there in the room. His offense in Edmonton was like number 2 in points, number 1 in rushing average per carry. Like, let the man cook already. Stop messing around.
I'd
There's not an
love to know.
audition time no more. It's not audition time no more.
I'd love to know what that dynamic was. Like Hogan in charge, and that's it. Jarius Jackson doesn't have much say, or what?
My goodness. Speaking of off season, we won't go too deep into the off season. Which potential free agent are you prioritizing? Which potential free agent are you letting walk? In regards to prioritizing to stay, I'm going to go with Evan Holm. The man is a menace all over the field. He plays fast, he plays physical, he's often in the right place at the right time, and not because of luck. He's successfully come back from an injury. He's a not easily replaceable defensive back in my eyes. He's proven too versatile. Like, he's starting to play like Mo Leggett. I can honestly see him playing dime back or linebacker if they need him to, and he'd do it successfully. So I'm going to say, I know there's a big one up on offense, but I'm going to say Evan Holm on defense.
Yeah, that would be a good one for sure. You need continuity back there. I'm going to go with the big guy on offense, but probably at a better contract rate, or use him to that rate. If you're going to pay him higher, use him. Brady Oliveira. I think he's still the heart and soul of this offense, and he makes it tick. But you just got to use him and use him more and use him properly. I mean, the guy still put up the yards this year when given the ball, and even in this game against Montreal, he was getting the yards when needed. Obviously, that fumble hurts, and I'm sure he's going to be thinking about that one for a while. But I'd be looking at him to bring him back.
My question only is because of the salary cap, because you know that Zach Collaros probably is not taking less money. Do you get Stanley Bryant back at 40? If he's good to go, hey, he had a good season. I didn't have issue with left tackle for most of the season. Like,
No, yeah,
so,
I'd bring back Stanley Bryan, and
but
if I
that
was
O
Zach,
line needs work.
they do need work. At least you got guys like Gabe Wallace. He's now got a season under his belt. Maybe that helps. Eli is another free agent, but he's another young guy. Do you give up on him? But I think you got to move on from other guys on that whole line.
I'm not going to name names, but which potential free agent are you willing to let walk? You can go first on this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a few really, but I'd let Patty Neufeld go, and I'm assuming at this point in age, it probably is an opportunity again. Has done great things for the Bombers, and that's the thing. I'm not shitting on guys or want to shit on guys here because they've done fantastic things, but at some point, it's you got to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And to me, you got to fix that O line, and it's starting with getting rid of some of those guys or letting them go. So for me, it'd probably be Neufeld.
I'm going to go on the other side of the line. I'm going to go Jake Thomas. I'm sorry, it's time. Hopefully, he gets to leave on his own terms because it would be weird seeing him released, especially if he comes to camp, or seeing him suit up for another team. Like O'Shea really elevated this guy in Bomber lore when he let him lift the cup. He was the first player to lift the cup after the streak was broken. But come on now, that defensive line was not good. And I think it really does start in the middle there.
Well,
So
Jake Thomas, he's a free agent anyway, so right. So
that's why I'm willing
he
to let him.
yeah, he can either choose to retire at this point or they can choose to not re-sign him at this point as well.
You'd think it's like, yo, dude, if we don't resign you, sorry. You'd think that he'd be like, I'm done with it. But who knows, man? Who knows?
He's not that starter role anymore, right? But does he do enough in that backup role to even bring him back?
It's tough to say.
There's a lot of, I mean, obviously the CFL is crazy, right? Because these 1 year contracts make it freaking difficult. And if there's one thing the CFL should have changed, and I just want to mention these 2 games on the weekend, the points were crazy. And,
Yeah.
and you want to make these changes to the CFL because you want to increase scoring. Well, I don't know how much more you can increase scoring until you get to the ridiculous zone, but yeah, I forgot. My train of thought went off the rails there. I totally forgot which way I was going with that comment and Jake Thomas and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You got to
it's
the
gonna
real
be.
changes talk, though. You got to the real changes
Oh, and
talk.
it riled me back up again, and it threw my whole train of thought off.
There's less field to travel.
Yeah.
And you don't have the goalposts in the way.
Well, I mean, the Bombers did doink one, right?
Yes, exactly.
Fine. I don't know. To me, the field goals though, it just screws up the kick return, field goals. Oh yeah, here,
The missed field goals?
just gonna get started on this again.
For sure. Why not? We got lots of time now since the Bombers are done. With that said, we've been talking about players coming, going, free agency, front office, possible change. Is this the end of an era? I don't think so. For good or for bad, like when you talk about priorities and what the coaching staff, I think O'Shea will be back. I do think Walters will be back. Uh, I do think a good chunk of the core will remain. I think for it to be era over, it'll have to be like either with Stanley Bryant, Dembski, Willie Jefferson, or Oliveira. If 3 of the 4 are gone, I think we're very close to the end of an era. If 3 out of those 4 are gone, we're close to being end of an era.
Yeah, if you put it that way, I'm saying that it is, depending on obviously, like, because I feel they're going to make a bunch of changes, but the way you put it, yeah, I guess if you get your core back, it really isn't. If you got Collaros back, you got Brady and Dembski back, Willie, those guys. And to me, a lot of guys on defense, I would bring back.
Yeah.
It's that D line to me that I would want to change, really, and get that better. And then on the offensive side of the ball, again, the O line, to
Yeah.
solidify that O line. Because you look at it, it's like there's not a lot of issues there. Obviously, yes, the play calling and all that kind of stuff on top of it. But the players wise, it seems close. And it seems like you got some playmakers. So I did say yes to the end of the era, but your definition kind of changes a little bit. But I'm still going to say with the changes, and I don't know if I feel like Walters is gone just because I haven't heard him at all after the season ended so far. But I feel like O'Shea would be back, but I feel like some changes are going to be made on that coaching staff as well.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, I don't think many will. Like, they're not going to change the defensive coordinator for sure. I don't think they should.
No,
So,
you just need some adjustments. You gotta have it's the CFL, man. When you need pressure on that quarterback, it's a huge field. If you give that quarterback that much time, those receivers are getting open.
can you pay? Can you can you fix your O line when possibly up to 800,000 of your salary cap is dedicated to quarterback and running back, and you have no DBs almost under contract?
That's the thing to me. Like
I'm
Zach, if
exaggerating, but there's like 8 that are free agents.
Zach to me, if he's coming back, needs to be in the 300-400 range. And maybe Brady's got to possibly be under 200.
Yeah.
And then Dembski needs a contract too, so he's probably going to get something over 100 as well. But you're
Yeah.
also getting Dalton showing off the books, so you have that money to
Yes.
spend. Wheatfall, if you're going to re-sign him, shouldn't cost you too much. And then they already re-signed Ontario Wilson, right? So you got him already, and
For sure.
Claricius, all those guys are still under contract.
It'll be interesting off season. As a Stamps fan, Bomber fans, do you think it's the end of an era? Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. As a Stamps fans, what's your number one concern going into the off season? Man, the Stampeders have had a generational run of quarterbacks with Flutie, Garcia, and Dickinson, and they haven't been able to capture that magic and find that next one. I do think Vernon Adams is a very good quarterback, but it's consistently been proven that he can't finish a season all the way through, and it's usually because of injury. The Stamps are in the middle of the pack in regards to sacks allowed, and they're only ahead of teams that are already out of the playoffs. So the Stamps somehow got to fix their O line. I don't know necessarily if it's roster. They had a rookie offensive line coach with Ukamber Williams, who's a great CFL lineman, but that doesn't make you a great offensive line coach. So maybe it's somewhere there, but they got to protect Vernon Adams better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they made some strides this year, right? They obviously got back in the playoffs. Their D played very well. My concern though is Vernon Adams as well, but more so for Vernon Adams and his inconsistent play, right? Now he had a good game this weekend,
Yeah.
and Calgary probably could have won that game. A few too many mistakes.
Yeah.
And they held Rourke to some very good numbers.
Yeah.
Like low numbers, like for compared to what the Bombers allowed Davis Alexander to do. So there was the opportunity there for Calgary to take this game.
Yeah.
They just made too many mistakes, and I'll give Vernon credit because he came out and played well, but inconsistent. The injuries pile up. Unfortunately, he's not playing a whole season here and there. So my concern would be, hey, what are you getting when you bring Vernon Adams back? Are you going to get consistent play? Are you going to get good quarterback play? And is it going to be throughout the whole season? So that would be what you have to look at. And obviously, you fix other places around him might help.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy did have some pretty good receivers this season too.
Shit. Oh, I didn't even know I just swore randomly because I was so much into what you're talking about because this is all about Vernon Adams. I was just deep into it. I was like, she any which way. Let's move on to CFL Divisional final predictions. All about Vernon Adams.
You know what? It's good after that weekend. The Bombers being out, we could still laugh.
You got to.
Yes. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
What a weird day for sports. Bombers lost, and then to watch that Jays thing, it's like I have no more energy for sports right now.
At least the
Like,
Jets won. The Jets won in between that.
yes, yes. The only saving grace.
Yeah.
Predictions. Let's start with the East. Montreal, Hamilton. Who do you got? If you want to
I'm
throw
go-
a score in, it's up to you.
well, I did put a score, so I guess I might as well throw it in. I'm going to take Montreal. High scoring affair here as well. I'm going to go 39-33 Montreal.
I'm gonna go Montreal. Looked pretty good for most of the game against the Bombers, faced adversity, and then fought through it. That might wake them up to be like, yo, we need a full 60. They did respond with a TD drive after the Bombers took the lead, I believe, the 2-point lead. So I'm going to go Montreal 28, Hamilton 24.
Should be a good game though.
I hope both are going to be good games. Ooh, man, the CFL folks online are going crazy about the rule changes because these are such good games. They're like, see, it's like, oh,
Exactly. You don't need like the reason for changing them did not make sense though, right? Because
they're
you
not
had
telling us the
high
real
scoring
reason.
games.
They're not telling us the real reason.
No. And I think there's other changes you can make to make these games even better. Because sometimes watching these D's this weekend was like, holy crap, like what's going on here, kind of thing, right? You
Yeah.
know, it was kind of embarrassing in a way watching some of these D's, the way that the Bomber D, the way Montreal's D kind of collapsed in the second half. And I know that Montreal's offense had a factor in that too because of short field position. So yeah, I think you could give more money to coaching and get these players to scheme better or in position better or whatever. So.
Maybe on defense they should play 13 guys.
Didn't a team try that once?
Huh?
Didn't a team try that once?
Saskatchewan did, but that's special teams.
I know.
Too soon, man. That's too soon. How long ago is it? Sorry, don't even start. Speaking of Saskatchewan, BC Saskatchewan West Final. I got BC. Pretty much the same reason with Montreal. They've looked so good for the past few weeks. Faced adversity against Calgary, still came out with the win. I'm gonna go BC 29, Saskatchewan 27.
Nah, that's pretty close to what I have. You know, the one thing I didn't check in either of these games is what the weather is going to be like. Just thought of that now. But I have BC winning this game as well, 28-26 for BC. You know,
Damn.
the one thing about these two games is you got old quarterbacks going against the young guns kind of thing, right? You got Trevor Harris versus Rourke, and then you got Bo Levi versus Davis Alexander. It's crazy the age gap. It knows. I wonder if that's ever happened before in a CFL divisional final.
I think now with Bombers Saskatchewan not being a possibility, I think the league itself must be cheering for Rourke and Alexander, or else Rourke and Bo Levi, because Hamilton needs to break that streak sometime.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I think
maybe
it'll.
that's a better storyline. Maybe BC Hamilton.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's still gonna be tough for Hamilton. Their
Oh,
D
for
has to. I
sure.
mean, hopefully they took something away from this weekend to figure out things about Montreal's offense. But if Montreal's got that running game going again, and Davis Alexander, who man, that guy is cocky and a little bit too much on the field sometimes. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's just unstoppable.
Who does he remind you of?
Can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
I'm gonna say Matt Dunnigan. When you
Yeah,
say cocky, I'm like Matt Dunnigan. He
yeah.
reminds me of Matt Dunnigan a little bit, boy. When he's walking across the Bomber sideline and talking, I'm like, woo. There you go.
How's that not a penalty anyways, that taunting? But uh, when they were doing the interview with him in between plays and he's sitting there in the white tank top kind of thing doing it just and I'm just like, what is going on here?
Just straight out of the training room, eh? Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
whatever.
dude.
You got a little bit of Chris Strevler in him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris
Good for you.
Strevler with that
Yeah.
injury.
Tough news, unfortunately for him. I don't know
What a
where it
way to
goes for him at this point.
Like, you gotta want to cheer for him to not end it off that way, but at the same
No.
time, coming off that same knee,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
tough.
But a player like him, he's going to try and come back, right? I don't know where that opportunity is going to be. And, if he's okay with that short yardage role, third quarterback kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's
It'd
probably
have to
where,
be a third quarterback. Bombers
yeah,
need to upgrade that backup, and it's not Terry Wilson.
no, no. Any way to get Drew Brown back? I know he's had up and downs, but
Well, then if that's gonna happen, Collaros ain't coming back.
no,
They can't afford both of that.
no, that's the Bombers moving on at that point. Who else is out there? Just off the top of your head, who else is out there besides that you can go for? I know you mentioned Trey Ford, but even him, still a bit iffy, right?
That'd be a backup project for sure.
Yeah,
But there's no one out there available.
no. Yeah, is Fajardo a free agent right now, or gonna be?
Oh, he might be.
Would you take him over Zach?
No.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be the same kind of move, lateral kind of move right now.
It's
Just the way
either
Fajardo, ended up his season 2.
if it's not Collaros, you're moving on with the future.
Yeah, you gotta get young, and hopefully, yeah. The only thing with Elgersma is if he's waiting for that NFL opportunity, unless you dump a bunch of cash on him,
Yeah.
to not, because that doesn't start till August or July, August, right? I know you can get into some off-season camps, but
I'd say maybe the only way Fajardo ends up here is like a Collaros situation when Mac Nichols was starting. Emergency,
yeah,
we need to pick up a QB late in the season, which some people were hoping kind of this year, but any which way. But Edmonton was
it,
still in it.
it wouldn't have made a difference anyways, probably, right?
Oh. Bomber fans, tell us why it wouldn't have made a difference. Benny, do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow. I guess no more Go Bombers Go, but Go Jets Go, and let's hope for some big games this weekend.
And we both have BC Montreal in the Grey Cup in Winnipeg with Machine Gun Kelly at halftime. With the weather saying it'll be what?
+2, but a little bit of rain and flurries. So
just bring your rain weather.
We'll be up top there. I'll be covered a bit. You're covered too, actually, where you are.
Yeah. Do you remember Wayne Weathers?
Yeah.
He was a good defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Just thought of it because it rhymed kind of with rain weather. Any which way, in the famous words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.